Wow, yeah, you know what? Call of Duty was not what I expected exactly. Now, guys, you've read the title of the video. This is essentially my first thoughts on my first real proper multiplayer experience, particularly with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Now, luckily this weekend, Activision chose to bless us with a free multiplayer weekend, and of course I'd previously downloaded Warzone 2 using the new and revamped Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 systems. So this was actually my first real time and interaction with the multiplayer experience of Call of Duty. Now, if you're probably thinking like, this guy's been gaming for so long, why hasn't he delved deeper or had a proper experience with Call of Duty before? I'll explain my history in a couple of minutes right here. Now, I've played a number, and I mean a number, pretty much most of the original Call of Duty campaigns. Now, I'm someone who's definitely not new to the Call of Duty gameplay style, I guess you could say, but I've definitely only played the campaign modes. I've played it for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2. Yeah, I think that's about it. I've definitely played all of the classic Call of Duty campaigns, delved deep into those, always seen them as more so on the mediocre side. None of them have really been able to blow me away. But in terms of the newer Call of Duty campaigns, I definitely haven't spent much time with them or have really interacted with them at all. Black Ops 3, that is probably the latest one that I've had some sort of interaction with, and that wasn't really a game I'd purchased. One of my homies had it, so I just hopped in and we played a little bit of split screen multiplayer, and we just had a whole lot of fun on that title. But definitely haven't spent a whole lot of time other than in the OG original games campaigns. And just shout out, Modern Warfare 2, even though it did recently get a update to the campaign, that game plays really, really well on PC. I've got a very below average rig over at my spot, but I was able to play it at a very smooth and crisp 1080p. I think I was probably hitting an easy 62, bro. So I was very, very impressed. But I was playing it on a low 1080p low pretty much, but very, very impressive in terms of the quality I was able to get on a pretty damn low system. So of course I picked up Call of Duty Modern Warfare, just downloaded that, and of course if you have Warzone installed, they allowed us to be able to interact with the multiplayer modes that they have available to us. So this is my first time really delving deep. Now, I didn't jump into Warzone originally back when it came out during the pandemic, way back in the day, because I just wasn't exposed to that, bro. Like I'll be honest with you guys, bro, I was spending pretty much the majority of my time playing Apex Legends. That was, to be honest, my first real multiplayer first-person shooter online experience, and goodness me, I've delved deep into that game, spending definitely over 500 hours easily just playing Apex Legends, and I've definitely become somewhat of a competent player, but I definitely have a whole lot of fun there. But I've definitely dropped off there. I've played the game enough and definitely interested to dip my toes into something else, and this multiplayer weekend proved to be interesting. Now, firstly, when I started out playing it, I definitely was not at all enjoying it. I have played the Call of Duty Beta Vanguard that came out a while back, played maybe like 30 minutes and I quickly dipped out. But this time around I said, you know what, let me be patient. I just need to give the game a little bit more time so I can finally decide on whether I actually enjoy the experience. Now, the first difference that I'm able to feel is that there's definitely more of a stiffness in terms of the movement compared to someone who's used to playing Apex Legends, which is essentially a legend shooter battle royale, which has very, very fluid and smooth and, just very movement-based gameplay, of course, based off the Titanfall style that they created way back then. So it was a little bit jarring to come into a much more stiff, much more military soldier-like experience. Now, I have played a little bit of Battlefield, but that's definitely a totally different style, and unfortunately by the time I did eventually pick up Battlefield 1, there was pretty much nobody playing it at the time. But I did definitely get it off reviews, but I was definitely too late to the party to be able to enjoy that experience to a high level. So when I came over here, definitely more stiff, definitely some new systems that I had to interact with, such as setting up your loadout and stuff like that. But I started out with the basic M4 and the 12 gauge shotty. Oof, and man, First of all, I was getting clapped. The time to kill is crazy. It's definitely on the shorter side. I'll be honest, first impressions, I'll definitely have to say that Call of Duty is definitely, the entire multiplayer experience is definitely a whole lot more on a lot of luck. Some good gameplay can definitely net you some good kills if you're on your toes and you're killing it and you're really on the money right there and then. But there are a lot of opportunities where I'd say it's a lot of luck, it's a lot of twitch gameplay, it's a 1 second and you are defeated in 1 second, you take them down type of thing. And that's a multiplayer experience that I'm definitely not used to, but it's definitely something enjoyable once in a while, especially as I started to get into the groove into it, bro. I started implementing some sliding into my gameplay. 1 shot with the shotty, 1 shot with the shotty, 2 shot, 3 shot, taking out 3 enemies and able to build up a decent kill streak at times. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of the kill streak system just in general. I just don't think it's a great system, particularly the rewards that they give you for the kill streak, such as the UAVs and things like that. I'm just personally not a fan of that. But of course, I haven't interacted too much with the systems. Maybe there are some upgrades and kill streak upgrades that I think are more suitable for it, but I feel like something such as a mortar strike or a UAV drone that just kills you from the sky is a little bit unfair and doesn't really work with the entire multiplayer experiences. There really isn't a counter for that unless you're indoors. A small little gripe, but yeah, definitely not something that's fun, I guess. And I guess it can be really frustrating if you're playing a really tight game and then you lose because of that. Because what we have to also keep in mind is that it's definitely on twitch gameplay and a little bit of luck as well. If the chips align perfectly for one player and they're able to take their kill streak up to 5, they can essentially change the entire situation of the game, particularly if you're playing domination, where you have to each protect a certain zone. And if that zone is outside and you're hit with a mortar strike, all 3, 4, 5 of you are getting taken out all at once. And that's just something that I found a little bit weird, and I found that a little bit too powerful, because in Apex there are characters and legends who have the ability to have AoE damage effects ultimates that are able to do quite a wee bit of damage, but they're never going to be, it's never really going to be the killing blow, and you're genuinely going to easily see it coming before it's able to do a lot of imminent damage to you. So that's just a little bit of an issue that I have with it. Now, as someone who's newer to this multiplayer experience, I definitely thought it was cool with the amount of options and accessibility and option that we have in terms of customizing your own loadout. The perk system is alright. From the options that I had to play with, you had to choose between a number of different perks that were available to you, and you could only choose them in a package deal in that sense. So it definitely was cool and easy, as I didn't have to deal too much with the perk system and think too much. I was able to put all my focus pretty much into the weapons that I'm choosing and into the gameplay. I don't want to spend too much time mixing and matching in menus, particularly when I'm just playing a first-person shooter such as Call of Duty. If I'm playing an RPG, then I can mix and interact with the systems that are available. But when I'm playing an action game such as this, there's not really something I'm really too interested into spending too much time in not interacting with the gameplay. Now, there are various attachments that are available to you to customize your weapons, playstyle, the amount of kill streaks and the different kill streaks benefits that you will get, and of course there's a little bit of an ability that you can have as you continue to gain experience as you play the game. More things such as a barricadable cover, a portable radar, mines, and other great tools that are available to you that will help you in the multiplayer match or unlocked to you incrementally as you continue to play the game. And it's overall decent player progression system. The user interface is definitely serviceable. You're never going to be confused on what you need to do. Of course, I'm speaking in a sense that you've played a couple of games before, but it's definitely easy and straightforward. It's something that a system that you're going to understand. It's not too difficult to interact with. My gripe is that I'd say the cons in terms of adding attachments have definitely been a little bit too much. I'll be absolutely honest with you. I was playing with the M4, and I eventually changed the base of that weapon to the F-Tech Recon, I think that's what it's called, and it has a much lower cap of bullets, but it does a whole lot more damage, and I have a really fun time playing with that weapon. The issue is that when I started to put on attachments, the drawbacks were far too great than I initially anticipated, because as soon as I started to add the stock, as soon as I started to add a scope and attachment, my movement ability went down exponentially. Now I understand that they're doing this intentionally to, I guess, add some balance to the game and to ensure that no one individual or not one gun is too powerful, and that there are pros and cons to each and every single decision that you make. For me personally, I ended up choosing that, I'm not even going to add even one attachment to this, because it essentially ends up messing up my gameplay experience. My movement is stunted to a level that I feel uncomfortable with, where you have to understand, I'm an Apex player, bro. Movement is part of my playstyle now. I need to be moving quick from A to B very quickly, and if there's an attachment or piece of gun, things that trying to help me, that's pushing me back or holding me back in any sense, I'm completely going to toss that to the wayside, because I do not want anything that's going to keep me from playing and moving at my highest ability. And personally, because I have quite a bit of experience in playing Apex, playing some other shooters, and of course interacting with some of the Call of Duty main campaigns, I have a decent aim, so I usually don't really need the laser sights or need the holographic sights, as I'm able to pretty much land most of my shots just using the standard sights, which are actually really good. Compared to other games, the standard sights are quite disappointing you, and you're kind of obligated and forced to end up investing or putting some effort into getting some sort of sight attachments. But I will say, in this game, definitely not necessary. You'll be able to defeat all your opponents very well. Now, especially when I was using the shotty, bro, that is that weapon is absolutely OP, man. And it definitely it's a one-shot pump, bro, and your opponents are done for. I'd say the weapons that are possibly the shortest time to kill that I've interacted with is definitely the 12 gauge shotgun, which is the first one, and the other one, I'm not sure if this is the correct name, but it's the dual pistols. When I played with them back in Modern Warfare 2, it was the dual akimbos. I don't know if that's what they're called in this Modern Warfare here, but those guns are an absolute menace. Like, you will be done in a couple of seconds, absolutely no chance. If you did not see that guy coming, no chance. He's definitely going to defeat you without a doubt. So that's just a couple of things that you need to look out for when you're definitely in this multiplayer experience, man. There are a whole lot of tools available to you, including the various tools that I mentioned, but of course there is the tactical and the lethal grenade options, and yeah, man, it was cool interacting with that, and it's the stuff that we're definitely used to, and it was cool bringing it into the multiplayer experience. Of course, one-shot kill if you hit with a grenade, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. Definitely is Twitch gameplay. I mean, very fast-paced multiplayer experience, and I'm not going to lie, after interacting with this multiplayer systems and really delving deep and having a whole lot of fun with this, like, I may be considering purchasing a Call of Duty game. And now understand this, I've never purchased one of these games and played it multiplayer, day one and such, because of a couple of reasons, more so on the principle side, because the issue that I have with it is that the amount of value that I'm going to be getting from it is really, I can't be sure of that entire thing, and mainly because of a couple of things. First of all, the principal reasons why I prefer not to purchase Call of Duty is because I'm definitely not a fan of the annualization of the Call of Duty series. Every single year, pretty much every single year, another year goes by on God's green earth, guaranteed another Call of Duty will be dropping. And unfortunately, because of that, the quality between the previous games isn't really that great, and sometimes they don't even give us a story campaign to delve deep into. But in recent years, they have chosen to bring it back, and it seems that they've placed a decent amount of focus into them. I don't like the annualization because it's most of the time really a cash grab, because there isn't a huge amount of substantial innovation that can be attained within only a year. Even though I do understand that it is produced by different developers at different times, there isn't enough time to innovate substantially for it to require another release of Call of Duty. So that's why I definitely have a particular issue with that. And of course, there are other business practices of them pushing the battle passes, not necessarily the battle passes, but pushing season passes and all these other things, restricting maps, essentially encouraging you to buy the deluxe or higher edition of the game, spending more money so you get all access to the content. And their business practices to release content later and to restrict it via paywall. There's just a number of issues, bro. Like, they're a little bit too greedy for my liking. And it's not just these guys that I have issue with. I also have an issue with Ubisoft doing the exact same thing. I would honestly kind of argue that Ubisoft actually does it a wee bit worse, as their lack of creativity is so palpable, because such conduct in the single player genre is a lot less acceptable, because it's just too similar. Like, at least in the multiplayer experience, there are different players and maps and weapons that you're interacting with, and of course you're playing with your friends. If you're playing a single player experience that truly lacks innovation, that lacks heart, that really lacks any soul, it's a lot easier to feel, and it's you feel it a whole lot quicker. And let's not talk about Ubisoft today. We'll move on from there. But I definitely, that would be the reasons why I prefer genuinely to avoid it. But I say the highest and main reason is definitely because the amount of value they'll be gaining from purchasing the game. If I purchase a Call of Duty, let's say I buy it in the first month in which it releases, I'm going to get usually a pretty mediocre single player campaign, because that's usually how it is. It's scripted, not much freedom available to you as a player in the campaign. There's no player choice, understandable, but because of the way it's executed, it's definitely more so on the mediocre side. So first of all, I'd be getting a mediocre single player campaign, and then possibly, depending on how it's panned out, I'll be getting a pretty good or solid multiplayer experience. And on this time around, since I've interacted with it pretty well, I'd definitely say it's on the better side. Now, granted, my opinion on the multiplayer experience of this Call of Duty definitely can't be taken seriously, as I have no experience, of course, with other Call of Duty multiplayer experiences, so you definitely can't take my word from it. But from what I've interacted with, I've definitely enjoyed the experience. And I won't lie, I've watched other reviewers and I've seen other people's comments on the game, and they're saying that they've definitely hit the mark with Modern Warfare 2, and it seems they've struck gold again ever since they remastered not remastered, but they essentially remade and revamped the Call of Duty Modern Warfare series. So this seems to be another good time to actually finally delve deep and maybe pick up Call of Duty this year. So guys, that's essentially my experience with them, first experience really with the Call of Duty multiplayer experience, and it definitely gave me a good impression. Like, I'm definitely feeling motivated to actually go ahead and pick up Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 when I see it at a decent price, wherever I'm able to pick it up, whether I pick it up over on PSN digitally, or if I find it over at a gaming shop over here that maybe has a good sale on the title. But I'm definitely thinking about it. But maybe before I pick it up, because I've actually been eyeing the Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the one that came back in 2019. I've been wanting to play that campaign, particularly that Mission Clean House. I've heard nothing but great things about it. But yeah, man, definitely interested to finally pick this game up. First impressions, they're good. Definitely on the good side. It's very well polished. The visuals are absolutely stellar. The gameplay is silky smooth. It's a very well polished game, so I have to give credit where credit is due. Yeah, first impressions, if I was to give it a little bit of a score just on how I feel about my first Call of Duty multiplayer experience, I'd have to give it, it's a banger. I'd have to give it an 8. Yeah, just first impressions, there are absolutely no issues with it. If I've got any issues, it's more so personal reasons. There's absolutely no fault with the game at all. I had to give it an 8. It's a great experience, and I'm having a whole lot of fun. And I've only played on 3 maps, and they've only played on 3 different modes like kill confirm, domination, and team deathmatch. Those are the only gameplay options available to me, so I can just imagine if I have the entire experience available at my fingertips, how much I'll be able to really enjoy that game. Yeah, no, I'm definitely interested, and I'll let you guys know if I ever do actually pick up the game. I'll just gonna give myself a little bit more time to think, maybe play a little bit more of the trials, and play a little bit more of a little bit of Warzone, and then I'll finally come to a decision. But I'm definitely enjoying the game, definitely. So guys, that was the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Those are my thoughts. Leave your comments down there. Maybe if you've got some tips for me, maybe you've got some recommendations, maybe a Call of Duty I should focus on or pick up. Just tell me how you feel, and let's have a little discussion down there in the comment section. Hope you guys enjoy your day, and take it easy, guys.